Good. This is really a rock and rollin' ride, isn't it? Never been on a ride like this before. Oh boy. I'm glad they got this great suspension system on this thing. Boy, that's a big mountain when you're down here looking up, isn't it? My, oh my. That's as big a mountain as I ever looked up.
Dave, do you see spurs you look up there?
The craters in that one directly ahead. Oh yeah, I see what you mean, Dave. See that? Yeah, there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 lined up, going upslope. Yeah, right on the wall of the crater. Yeah. Just perfectly linear and perfectly uniform craters, little ones, maybe. Yeah, but look, there's a rock just below those. I wonder if it could have bounced. No, it couldn't have made that many. Yeah, we're going, at the base of the front, we're going down into a little depression that runs along the front. We came over another north-south trending ridge, and we're going down a little bit, and then we're going to start up again. Be interesting to see what happens to Rover speed here as we start up slope. Yeah, because we are starting up slope. I'd estimate 3 to 5 degrees. Yep. Okay, going to take a little lean to the left here. Oh, those weren't very big holes at all, were they? Just a shadow made them look.
Dave and Jim, what was the bearing on that chain of craters you described?
Hey, Joe. Joe, it was just a very subtle little, maybe half-foot craters in the size of a 4-meter crater that showed up very well in the shadow. And
okay.
That was just at our 348 for 4.3, okay, where we are right now. And we've stopped, and let's take a gander around and see which way we ought to head. You know, Dave, if we could make it out that far directly ahead of us, look at the large blocks. You mean come down slope? Yeah, at 12 o'clock. No, the antenna's in my way. Okay, that's as good a way as any. We'll head 140 from here. And I have the 500 out.
And look at that reel.
How about that?
How about that, geology
fan?
fan?
From the top of the reel down, there's debris all the way, and it looks like some outcrops directly at about 11 o'clock to the sun line. It looks like a layer about 5% of the real wall with a vertical face on it, and within the vertical face I can see other small lineations, horizontal, about maybe 10% of that unit. And that unit outcrops along the rill. It's about 10% from the top, and it's somewhat irregular, but it looks to be a continuous layer. It may be portions of flows, but they're generally at about the 10% level. I can see another one at about 12 o'clock to the sun line, which is somewhat thinner, maybe 5% of the total depth of the rill. However, it has more well-defined internal layering of about 10% of its thickness. I can see maybe 10 very well-defined layers within that unit.
Beautiful, Dave, beautiful.
As I go down the rill, below this upper layer at 10%, there seems to be mostly debris in the order of large angular fragments, maybe the largest being like 5% of the total depth of the rill. then they gradually break on down to very small fragments in a talus slope. I see no significant collection of talus at any level. It seems to be fairly uniformly distributed in patches all the way down to as far as I can see to the bottom of the Rille. And looking on to my 12:30 to 1 o'clock on up the Rille, and I guess we'll get a little closer when we get down to sampling it down there. Why, it looks very much the same. Outcrops of this one unit, irregularly spaced, discontinuous, but along the general 10% from the top line, with talus sliding down into the bottom of the Rille. I see no differences in color. However, the vertical section of the unit which is exposed looks to be somewhat lighter in gray. The blocks which have fallen down in the talus seem to be have a more tan or different tone of gray color to them, sort of like the fresh vertical section was more recently exposed. Let me let you digest that for a minute, and let me take a bunch of 500s so I'll get you the vertical and the horizontal, and boy, there's lots of things to shoot at over there. Oh, look at the mountains today, Jim, when they're all sunlit. Isn't that beautiful? Really is. By golly, that's just super. It's, unreal. Dave, I'm reminded of a favorite biblical passage from Psalms. I look unto the hills from whence cometh my help. But of course we get quite a bit from Houston too. Box. Hey, Houston Falcon, how do you read on box?
Okay, loud and clear, Dave, and your go for liftoff. And I assume you've taken your Explorer hats off and put on your pilot hats.
Yes, sir, we sure have. Ready to do some flying. Stand by for 1 minute. Okay, guidance steering is in. Okay.
Mark 1 minute.
Hey, master arm is on. I have 2 lights. FHG is on.
Copy.
Port stage, engine arm to Ascent. 99 Pro. Good liftoff, automatic. Taking about 306. Hey, good smooth ride, Ed.
Roger, copy now.
Three, two, one, launch. We have a barber pole. And a gray.
We confirm that?
Tally ho.
Okay, Dave, copied that. Sounds great. Can you see much?
Oh, it looks like it might be oscillating maybe 10 degrees at the most.
Roger, Dave, copy.
Apollo 15, Houston, over.
Hello, Houston. Endeavor's on the way home with a burn status report for you.
Roger, sounds good. Standing by.
Houston 15.
Go ahead, 15.
Okay, Bob, I'm looking from Humboldt straight south now, and in fact you can draw a line between Humboldt and in a great ditch or scarp to the south, and there's quite a change in the light level or the intensity of the albedo in between those two areas, and it looks like there's some fairly smooth, fresh lava flows throughout that area. And in fact, we noticed that while we were in orbit also, that in some of those areas around Humboldt there, to the north of Humboldt and to the east of Humboldt, that the flows in some of the craters there, and they're quite distinct flows. You can see where they've lapped up against the sides, and you can also see where they've spilled down over the sides, sort of reminiscent of the Coastal Hills flow. We looked at these flows and realized that they looked fresh, and yet they had a lot more, the crater count was a lot higher on them than it was on the surrounding terrain. And this flow that we're kind of looking at now looks, it's a very large area, and it looks like it's just seeped into some craters down there, some of the larger craters. It looks much fresher in color. It doesn't look like it's been worked up as much. The craters that tip the lava flow are much sharper than they are, say, further to the east. But the count seems to be much higher. The crater count seems to be much higher, even here.
Copy, Al. Very interesting.
And Houston 15, as we leave and look back, why, I guess we still have the impression the moon is mostly gray. However, when you're up sun, as we were just prior to TEI, or when you're looking up sun, it does definitely take on a chocolate brown color. We came around prior to TPI on the day side, or TEI on the day side, looking backwards into the sun across Schroeder's Valley. And that was a pretty spectacular sight. And it did start turning a chocolate brown, but now everything is a variation of gray, from very light to a gunmetal gray near the terminator.
Well, is that a unanimous vote in the spacecraft, Dave?
Roger, I got 3 eyes on that one.
Roger, we'll add that and continue to keep the score.
We can see a point on the terminator now where we mentioned we saw a lava filling in some domes in a depression, which is not a circular crater-like depression. It's a big cavity. And now I guess as the sun angle has changed some, we can see where the lava has apparently spilled over a scarp into a deeper cavity, which is in shadow. And it's very clearly a filling of a cavity with 2 levels. That's the pan camera, right? Okay, Houston, the pan camera is sitting inside. Hold it.
Remember, there's no hurry up there at all.
nothing on the VOR-H sensor. There's no black paint missing. There's nothing obscuring the field of view. The glass is not cracked. Shield is not obstructing the field of view. There's nothing in the way, Carl. It looks perfectly clear.
We copy your report, Al. Thank you.
Okay. And as I look around, the mass spec is, looks like about, not quite in the cover. It looks like maybe it's the cover that's jammed. Yes, in fact, it is the cover that's jammed. Jim, you look absolutely fantastic against that moon back there. That is really a most unbelievable, remarkable sight. Houston, is there anything else you want me to check in the sim bay before we go back in?
Al,
Is there anything on the mapping camera I can check?
Al, we'd be pleased to have any general comments you had about the sim bay experiments otherwise than what we specifically asked you. Did everything look in order?
Okay. Well, everything looked good as far as I could tell, except for the cover on the mass spec and the fact that the mapping camera is up. Maybe I'll just take another quick check back here and see if I can see anything on the mapping camera.
Question number 1. This last week, we have shared scores of exciting moments with you. Which single moment would you most like to live again? And is there any moment which you would never like to repeat?
Well, I guess we all probably have a different idea on which would be the single most exciting moment of the flight. And maybe we'll just run through it one at a time. I guess the most impressive moment I can remember is standing up on Hadley Mountain, Hadley Delta, and looking back at the plane and seeing the limb and the Rille and Mount Hadley and the whole big picture in one swoop. And I think we've got some pictures for you from up there, and I believe the TV was running at the same time, and I think that was probably the most impressive sight that I've ever seen. Yeah? I guess I'd have to say sort of two events occurred, which were exciting for different reasons, and I guess they were really kind of the highlights of the flight for me. One was right after LOI when we got our first look at the moon, and it was a fantastic, spectacular sight. And the other, I guess, was when TEI burned so beautifully, and right after TEI, that was an awfully good feeling.
Okay, well, I guess there were a great many new thrills for me. And the one that was most impressive, though, was the liftoff that began the flight, and I knew that I was going into space after a few years of waiting and training. And then as far as the event that I would not like to repeat again, was probably the time when I fell down in front of the TV when we were deploying the rover.
Question number 5 for Al Worden. In lunar orbit, you too carried out geologic observations. For example, you reported cinder cones. Could you discuss this and other observations from 60 miles up?
Yes, the comment on cinder cones was one of color, but we noticed, particularly on some of the lighted part of the backside, that many of the craters that we flew over were filled with what appeared to be lava. There seemed to be a great number of lava flows in the Mare areas, particularly Mare Imbrium. Mare Imbrium seems to be just countless numbers of lava flows, which were all apparently very thin and very fluid. And you can just count numbers of flow fronts covering Mare Imbrium. So we got, I think, quite a distinct impression of a great deal of volcanism around the moon, and in some particular isolated areas, such as the littoral area, and such as areas like probably the Aristarchus Plateau, there's a great deal of volcanism and some cinder cones and certainly a lot of lava flows.
Question number 7. You described the Lunar Rover as a bucking bronco on the moon. Would you elaborate and assess the rover's performance and tell us what changes you recommend for the 1972 model?
Well, there were several times there when we were riding along where we'd hit a sizable bump, and you could see the wheels come off the ground and float through the air. And but Dave should comment more as far as the driving. And it was really like a bucking bronco. That's true, because I was strapped in. As you know, Dave had to strap me in because I had some trouble with my seat belt. But I really did feel like I was on a bucking bronco.
I think I might add that it's a very stable machine, but because of the 1/6 gravity, it tends to float. In the simulations we ran in Houston, we saw the same amplitude or the same degree of bouncing, but a different damping. In other words, the vehicle would come off the ground, or one wheel normally would come off the ground. It would take it somewhat longer to return to the ground than in 1G. And I think it's just a matter of becoming accustomed to the driving. It's a very stable vehicle. The suspension system is excellent. We had to make some rather sharp avoidance turns periodically, and in these turns we could tell the vehicle was quite stable, no tendency to turn over whatsoever. I think the only recommendation we'd really have would be to come up with a new idea on a seatbelt type arrangement, and we've discussed that also. I think we have some suggestions we can make when we get back to ensure that you can have both crewmen securely in their seats in a short period of time. Other than that, I think the vehicle is about as optimum as you can build.
I have visual contact again. I have 140 from the ship, 1/2 mile. Bearing is 130 to 3 main chutes. I have visual contact, 3 main chutes.
Roger.
Apollo 15, we're showing about a -0.6 on the missed distance, and everybody's in good shape.
Roger 15, we got a visual on you on the screen in here.
Okinawa, recovery has a recovery beacon contact bearing 175 magnetic on station. Okinawa, this is swim 2. I have a visual contact bearing 010 at approximately 1 mile. My position 134, Okinawa 8.5 miles. Altitude is about 6,000 feet to the command module. Roger. Okinawa, this is swim 1. I have recovery beacon 115 degrees magnetic at 2704 miles at time 47 over. 43. This is photo. I have something falling beside the command module. I did not tell what it was. Apollo 15, this is recovery, over. Recovery, Apollo 15, everybody's in good shape, and we're looking at about 3,500 feet. This is recovery. I have a visual 165 from me, about 8 miles. This is it's at 1 appears to be streaming. This one to the third. This is photo of the Apollo 15, this is recovery, over. Roger, recovery 15, here, 5's clear, everybody's in good shape. Roger, Apollo 15, if you hear, all units have you inside, and we are inbound now. Roger. Apollo 15, this is Okinawa, request your splashdown readout, over. Roger, 2613 minus 15812. Splashdown, mark splashdown.
Landing velocity on 2 chutes is 28 feet per second, or 32 feet per second versus 28 feet on 3 chutes.
Order. It is in stable 1 condition. 3 main chutes are in the water, all visible around the spacecraft. 1 main chute appears to be still attached to the command module. Apollo 15, this is recovery, over. Recovery, Apollo 15, everybody's in good shape.
It's great to be back. We had a great time on the trip. I think we accomplished a lot. We had a lot of support from a lot of people. And I'd just like to say that we appreciate every bit of it, and we could not have done the mission. We couldn't have gone one step without the support of the many, many thousands of people involved. Thank you very much.